You know, there are so many awesome suburbs around Charlotte, North Carolina, and if you're considering a visit to the region or even living in Charlotte, North Carolina down the road, you ought to get to know them a little bit. In today's video, we're going to take you on a tour of Belmont, North Carolina, a nice, beautiful suburb just about 10 or 15 miles west of Charlotte, so stick around. Silva with Longtown Realty, brokered by eXp Realty here in Charlotte, and I love discovering new things about Charlotte and bringing that information to you. If this is your first time to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell, and you'll be the first one to know when we get new videos posted about Charlotte, North Carolina and the surrounding region. We get calls, texts, emails all the time from people just like you wanting to know what's going on in Charlotte. So whether you're moving here or coming here for a visit in 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months, you're at the right place. We talk suburbs, neighborhoods, pros and cons, food, school, sports, weather, business, everything you can think about, and it's all based on Charlotte and the surrounding region. Like I said, today we're going to take you on a tour of Belmont, North Carolina. But first, we want to talk to you a little bit about the history of Belmont and kind of orient you to where it sits on the map. Belmont is a small and growing town about 10 miles east of Gastonia, North Carolina, 15 minutes west of Charlotte Douglas International Airport, and about 20 or 30 minutes west of the uptown Charlotte area, depending on traffic. And there's really three major routes going into Belmont from the Charlotte area. One is Route 85, a major east-west, which is really a north-south route. And the second one is Route 74, and then you can come in from the south side of Belmont after you go on Route 49 through the South Charlotte area over the Buster Boyd Bridge, which takes you over Lake Wiley to the south. Now you're in South Carolina and you head north into Belmont. So a couple different routes to get in there. As the story goes, Belmont was settled by the Dutch settlers in about the 1750s, and it was originally known as Garibaldi Station. Around 1883, it became renamed Belmont, meaning beautiful mountains, and that's due to being the proximity to Crowder's Mountain to the west. So Belmont was a 3 cotton mill town until textiles came to Belmont in the 1870s, along with the railroad in 1871. Being located near the water, which was Catawba River and Lake Wiley, and then in between Charlotte and Gastonia, helped keep Belmont relevant, and by the 1930s, over 20 textile mills were located in Belmont. And its population went from approximately 145 in 1900 to over 4,000 in 1930. Today, the estimated population of Belmont is 15,653 and growing. So even with the decline of the textile mills between 1970 and 2000, Belmont was able to stay relevant because it adopted and became an investor's paradise. Waterfront property is always valuable. It became a commuter town for Charlotte, and it also became a great place for outdoor adventurers and enthusiasts, especially if you like being on the water. Okay, Belmont is full of seasonal activities, including holiday events, parties in many of the parks, especially Stowe Park, just southwest of downtown Belmont. Awesome park, lots of events there. They have Friday night live concerts all throughout the summer. That's a great series. And they also have annual festivals all over Belmont. The downtown area of Belmont is very walkable, and in 1996, I believe, it was named a historic district. Okay, we're going to jump in the Jeep and we're going to head over to Belmont Abbey College first before we go into downtown Belmont. And Belmont Abbey College is just north of Belmont and north on 85, and we'll talk about that when we get there, so stick with us. So in 1872, a Roman Catholic father named Jeremiah O'Connell purchased some of this land that we're standing on today, purchased about 500 acres of it, and contributed, or actually donated it to a group of Benedictine monks from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. The idea was to establish a religious school here, and that's exactly what they did. In 1876, Belmont Abbey College was established as a religious school, and today is a liberal arts college just north of Route 85, about a mile north of Belmont, North Carolina. It's got about 2,000 students, and it is just a beautiful campus. And this is where we're going to start our overview and our investigation and our tour of Belmont, North Carolina, one of the nicest, quickly developing communities that is just a little bit west of Charlotte, North Carolina. stick with us. And before we head into Belmont, just want to show you a little bit of Belmont Abbey. You notice the name Robert Lee Stowe Hall. You're going to see the name Stowe quite a bit in Belmont. There's Stowe Botanical Gardens. There is obviously Stowe Hall. There is also Stowe Park that's down in Belmont. They were one of the early contributors to the development of the area, and thusly named Stowe. So let's jump down into Belmont. All right, as we head into downtown, the little town area of Belmont, I just want to have you take a look at some of these older homes here on the right. But Belmont's got a variety of price ranges. Look at that mansion monster. Anywhere from, I've seen some at $79,900. That one ended up selling at about $125, $150, to just a small house on it with a tear down or a rental. But you've got them right now going from about the low to high threes for a townhome on up to maybe starting in the fours for single family residential, and then blasting its way up to, in at least a couple different neighborhoods, $2.5 to $2.6 million. And those are anywhere from 2-bedroom to 6-bedroom, 1,100 square feet up to 5,400 square feet on the water, off the water. So a huge variety of pricing here in Belmont. And right now we're just looking at some of the old models that are on the main street coming in. This is actually Main. We're going to go left on Catawba up here somewhere soon, but want to kind of show you what's on the main street and not in the development area as we get into downtown Belmont. All right, I'm going to try this again. I am downtown Belmont, and one of the things I just did was I bumped into somebody, a woman with her son. I said, hey, tell me what I need to show of downtown Belmont. And one of the things that she mentioned was it's right behind you, and it is Bliss Gallery, Cherub's Cafe, and then over here is a cotton candy factory. And they are all stores that are operated by Holy Angels. But Holy Angels is, you can read that, there we go, loving, living, and learning for the differently abled. So they've also got this little park, which is kind of cool, but it's a great charitable organization in Belmont. And what she said was that they have festivals all the time. They have the candy store, obviously her son's favorite. They've got their cafe, and then they've got the gallery up there, and it's right across the street from the collective Nellies and Stowe Mercantile store right down there. So a lot within just a short distance on this part of downtown. She also told me to head over to the east side of Belmont. I didn't even know there was an east side of Belmont. I hadn't been here in about 10 years or so. But we're going to do that pretty soon, go to the east side of Belmont, and then eventually we're going to go through 3 neighborhoods, take a peek at those, and kind of give you some idea about what the pricing might be in those neighborhoods. And I promise not to turn this into a 2-hour video, but I just want to show you the new South Pointe Pet Hospital, getting some work done over there. And then this side of the street, we got the station, used to be the train station here in Belmont, and now it's a restaurant, a pub. Looks closed right now. I'm sure it's going to open up sometime, but it's a great place to go, hang out, grab a beer. You can tell by all the seats here and the sun. Great place just to meet some friends. They've got a couple other businesses in here too, I believe. Looks like a restaurant, heirloom restaurant, Belmont Yoga, The Joint, and Bumblebee Creamery. So that might be my daughter's favorite place. It's an ice cream shop, but a lot of cool things, and it's right across the street from the old railroad tracks. And one thing that's kind of cool, I like this, I would say police officer, but there's a cop, down and walking up and down the street here and there. Looks like he's just keeping the peace, but it's funny, I keep seeing him giving people hugs, walking with people, talking with people, just making sure this stays an extremely friendly location. And Belmont has a reputation for that. Just look at niche.com. It is a great place, nice, friendly, quaint. And this is the railway station. All right, so just on the south side of town, and that's uptown, just on the south side of town is this park. It is called Stowe Botanical Park. No, I'm sorry about that. It is Stowe Park. Daniel Botanical Gardens is something else. This is Stowe Botanical, geez, I don't keep saying that. All right, it is Stowe Park in downtown Belmont. And it is one of the nicest parks that you can ever see. It's got a little amphitheater, it's got a couple covered huts, it's got the playground over there, it's got a water supply, There's a memorial that we're going to go take a look at. Welcome to Belmont. This is telling you what's going on in the area, and you can tap the screen for more information. And it is just that time of year where things are starting to turn green. So it's awesome. Some of the things that people tell you that they come to Belmont for, number one is this, and this is just the quaint, earthy, inviting town in the area, and it's very walkable. Number two is probably the waterfront access. Here in Belmont, you've got access to Lake Wylie, you've got access to the Catawba River, you've got a couple marinas, and we're going to go check out one of those pretty soon. But you've got some marinas where you can rent some boats. It's a very business positive neighborhood and town. I've read where they just have meetings to try to attract businesses here versus tell them to go somewhere else. And I like this right here. This is erected in honor of all those who served in World War II and dedicated to the lasting memory of those who gave their lives. Something I think every town should have. Big, small, doesn't matter. And let's see, so from here, we're gonna head back uptown, walk on the east side of downtown a little bit, and then go to east side of Belmont. That's about it for here. All right, so we're walking north now on Main Street, back up towards Las Vegas fame. That's the place called Nellies, and that is a restaurant at the end of this street that is actually, I think it was started by the Jonas Brothers parents. They've got one here and one in Las Vegas, and the owner has mentioned, or the operator has mentioned a number of times that there's quite a bit of difference between the two, and mainly it's the clientele that come in. But you've got, again, we're on the east side of Main Street heading north. And as you can see, you've got several businesses on the other side of town, the west side of town. We're going to still head up north here and check out just some of the downtown businesses. You've got coffee shops, attorneys, real estate agents, pastries, walkers, restaurants. Did I say restaurants already? There's a salon. And then we're coming to Nellies right there. Just back away a little bit and give you a better view of Nellies and where we just came from, down the street. So from here, we're going to head on East Catawba, which is the street right in front of us, and head down to the eastern part of downtown Belmont, and then find one of the marinas. And from there, we'll go and hit 3 neighborhoods. So thanks for sticking around. All right, so we are at Riverside Marina, and this is the Catawba River here, east of downtown Belmont. We came through the east side of Belmont, no trespassing, and we'll take a look at the docks over there. You can rent boats here and go ahead and head out onto the lake, or the river, which will take you down to the lake. If you can see that roadway way up there, zoom in a little bit, there's not much traffic on it. That's Route 74 heading into Charlotte, and also north of that is 85. So we're about 10-15 minutes from the airport from here if you get up on 74. And probably about 25-30 minutes to downtown Charlotte. To the west, we're like 3 to 5 minutes from downtown Belmont. And then again, just maybe 10-15 more minutes from Crowder's Mountain. Then north of here is going to be the National Whitewater Center by about another 10-15 minutes, depending on how traffic is. So very easy to get to Belmont. And what we're going to do from here is head up to Kevin Loftus Riverfront Park. This is the rental location we're at now, but Riverfront Park is another park in Marina. We also went by Belmont Skating Park. We'll get a couple pictures of that for you. And also the Antique Mall, as well as the Riverfront District. So lots going on down here. Later on, we'll talk about schools as we go through some of the neighborhoods, but quite highly rated schools, South Pointe especially, South Pointe High School. And they've got a new middle school here as well. All right, so this is City of Belmont Skate Park right in here. Got some skating coming up soon by one of the participants here. They let me video them. But this here is the City Works. Stuff's been here about 2 years, and the park's been here about 2 years. Got some administrative offices down there, and you've got some of the Parks and Rec offices down there. Yeah, I'm not going off this ramp here, but some really nice new stuff going on here in Belmont. We're right on the river, the Catawba River, right down there. All these buildings are in the last 2 years, as well as that skate park back there. And this just shows you the cool stuff going on in Belmont. Now we're heading up to Kevin Loftin Park. Okay, so we are looking out here towards Kevin Loftin Riverside Park, part of the Parks and Rec in Belmont. And this new building, this new facility, is the brand new 7-month-old Parks and Rec headquarters. Lots of amenities inside, and we're going to go ahead and jump in there and take a couple pictures for you. Okay, I can't miss this one last picture or video from the Parks and Rec Center. And take a look down there. It's another area for activities, a little walking trail along there. And then right behind me, let me back out a little bit. I'm in the upper level of the Parks and Rec building. So kind of cool. 7 months old. Okay, finally we've gotten to Kevin Loftin Riverfront Park, and that is just down the street. If the sun doesn't shine you to death from the Parks and Rec department. You've got a nice playground, active today. It's 71 degrees in the Charlotte area today. You've got restrooms, you've got picnic shelters, trash cans. There's an amphitheater. There's your rules and regulations of proper etiquette in the park. And we are right on the Catawba River. There's some trails. There's a kayak launch point down there, a dock. Just a great place to come and enjoy yourself. There's part of the trail going that way, rest of the trail going that way. The other side of that river is Charlotte. And that is the Kevin Loftin Riverfront Park. All right, besides the cost of living here in Belmont being 2% lower than the national average, which you're seeing behind me, those guys right there, are some of the reasons why people come to live in Belmont. I think I mentioned this earlier on. It was the access to the waterfront. This is the Catawba River, and it leads down into Lake Wylie, the second big river around Charlotte. The other one is Lake Norman up north. But Lake Wylie is a southwestern lake that enhances living in Belmont and living in the Charlotte region. I think these Keystone, I was going to feed them, and they decided he's not feeding us, so they're going to go hunt for their own food. Anyway, off to the neighborhoods of Belmont. So I am at the Catawba River Antique Mall. If you've ever seen the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the Ark of the Covenant has been discovered by Indiana Jones, captured in the hands of the U.S. government, and then they put it in a warehouse, and they tell Indiana Jones it's under safekeeping by top men. They're investigating it. Well, that's what this room looks like. Endless antiques left and right. There's probably 8 or 10 of these rows, and they're all just filled with everything you can think of. Sports memorabilia, dolls, paintings. It's like a doll that's in a scary movie. All sorts of things. Just endless supply. But that's the Catawba River Antique Mall. It is pretty cool. All right, so here we are in the Eagle Park neighborhood of Belmont on the southeast side of town a little bit, and you've got a mix in here of townhomes and single-family residential. Love seeing all the flags out here. But the townhomes, right now, you've got some running for, I think there's one at $315. Oh, I should have taken a left down there. There's one at $315, and then the rest of them are up in the high threes, and they're 2-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,100 to 1,750 square feet. The single-family residential homes here are anywhere from $495 to $690, so a good price range. And those are all 3 to 4 bedroom homes, 1,780 square feet to 2,800 square feet, give or take. As you can see, a lot of front load garages. There are some back rear load, I believe, but these were all built in 2007 to 2016 range. And here we go with some sunshine in your eyes, but I'm going to try and get around to show you a little bit of the townhomes, since these are all the single family homes. So you've got a wide range of homes in Belmont that can range anywhere from the 1900s, early 1900s, all the way up until 2024. Several areas are new construction, and some of the areas that are single-family residential have a mix of townhomes there, and some of them are just standalone homes without HOAs, without being part of a neighborhood. So let's take a look right here at some of the townhomes. This is, like I said, what you're going to get for a $315 to $390 range. And I think there's only one at $315, and that's probably about 1,100, 1,200 square feet. So we'll just cruise through here for a second. Then we're going to go to our next two neighborhoods. And after that is our little surprise of Daniel Stowe Botanical Gardens south of Belmont. Here are some of the standalone homes on our way down to Reflection Point that I mentioned, and we're going to go past a South Pointe High School pretty soon. I want to stop in there and show you a little bit of South Pointe, but these are some of the really nice homes in Belmont, and a lot of them are renovated. Some of them still in the works, and some are just replaced the old homes that were there. So we do have a historical district down in Belmont, and several of the buildings in the downtown section that we looked at already are part of that historical district. All right, if we are in a suburb of Charlotte, a couple things I got to show you are the schools. This is South Pointe High School, very highly rated school. Go to greatschools.org and look up South Pointe High School, the Red Raiders. They got great athletic facilities out the back. But then look across the street. Nope, not the Chick-fil-A. But let me see if I can zoom in on this. What is that? Oh my gosh, that's a Harris Teeter. Every single suburb I talked about, I've said, oh, look at that, refers to a Harris Teeter. So this is South Pointe High School. We're in Belmont, heading down to Reflection Point, high-end neighborhood. But I just want you to take a peek at South Pointe. And this is the new Belmont Middle School that the woman I was speaking to downtown mentioned to me that we had to go by and see. Awesome looking school. Looks like the design fits in very well with the town of Belmont. All right, we are just going to take a ride by Reflection Point here, which is on the right. All these homes that you're seeing the backside of, and the sprinkler system, or actually the sprinkler system, the pond system here. And Reflection Point is one of the higher end neighborhoods in Belmont, and in the west of Charlotte, as a matter of fact. This in the sanctuary. You've got homes ranging from $1.2 million to $2.5 million, and the average price in here is between $1.6 and $1.9 million. So upper end homes built from 2005 to 2024, and anywhere from 3,500 square feet on up to 5,400 square feet plus, and usually 4 to 6 bedrooms. So that's Reflection Point. We just wanted to do a quick drive by here, let you see what the outskirts of it look like, and then we're going to head over to a newer construction neighborhood in McLean that's got new construction and some homes that have been there since maybe 2016, 17, 18. So we'll be heading over to McLean right away. All right, this is our last neighborhood we're going to be looking at in Belmont. And this is the South Shore side of McLean. And McLean's got several, what you might call enclaves, sections of neighborhoods that are, some of them different price points, some of them different styles of home. But lower end, you're going to look at a home about $475. At the upper end, about $2.6 million. So a wide range in this neighborhood. And we're going to come down to the cul-de-sac down here in a second and flip around and show you some of the homes that are on the eastern side of the street here. But what you can start to see in front of you is the waterfront, and these are the homes that are in the the $1.5, $2, $2.5, $2.6 million range, because they've got some very big lots, some very big homes, and right on the water. So anywhere from about 1,900 square feet to 5,200 square feet is what you're going to find in all of the McLean neighborhoods, anywhere from 3-bedroom to 6-bedroom. And I think there's even one home in here that's got 7 bathrooms. That's a bunch. But there's new builds, as you can see right to the right. And as I said before, some of the homes were as probably late built as 2016, 17, 18. And there's a couple modern styles in there. There's some more that are more traditional, more contemporary, everything that you can think of in McLean. But just a great neighborhood, spans the gamut from the $475,000 to $75,000 range, like I said, up to 2.6. And if you can see these homes, let me aim that over there a little bit better for you without hitting anybody's car. You're going to see the water in the backyard, and that's the Catawba River leading into the Lake Wiley area. So some awesome homes. We're going to go ahead and head back out of the neighborhood in a couple seconds, but let me just give you a few seconds to see some of these. I'm going to go down one more cul-de-sac up here on the right that's got a couple really nice, unique homes. I think they're nice anyway, and I think they're unique. But it's got something for everyone in here. So this is going to wrap up our the home tour. We've looked at a couple different neighborhoods. We've looked at some of the homes that are in Belmont along the main road, some of the older homes, some of the older areas, and some of the new builds in the older areas. There's that one that's a contemporary home right there to the right. And then right next to it, you've got a couple of them off into the woods. So great looking neighborhood. Like I said, Belmont has got a home for just about everyone. You've just got to do some hunting, get the right person to help you look for those homes, and keep the sun out of your eyes. And next we're going to be heading down to Stowe Botanical Gardens just to take a look at the gardens if we can get through there. It's going to be rush hour, about 5:25 rush hour around here. It's going to last anywhere from 4 o'clock until 6:30, 7 o'clock, depending on where you're going in the Charlotte area. Here we're on the west side of Belmont where people are starting to trickle home. So we'll be back to you in a second with Stowe Botanical Gardens. Before we do talk about Stowe Botanical Gardens, let me talk about Drift, which is related to the pump house down in Riverwalk, for which I did a video. I think it just got put out about a week or so ago. Riverwalk's a neighborhood down in Rock Hill, South Carolina. But I believe these two restaurants are related to each other, and it's right on the water. If you look across the water, you're looking into South Carolina, and there's the border right over there across that bridge. Here's the docks. This is something fairly new as well, and that is Morningside Marina. Is at McLean. McLean's a neighborhood we just went through, and it is behind the docks here. You can see where they put the boats in the water, where they hold them in dry storage back there a little bit. But that's Lake Wiley out there, and this is Drift. It's a pretty cool location. So I wanted to show you this just before we head up to Stowe and show you the gardens. All right, here we are at Stowe Botanical Gardens in the south side of Belmont. And it is just a wonderful place, marvelous place. It is about 380 acres, 400 acres, give or take, of wetlands, marshlands, manicured gardens. There's lakefront property, there's woodland trails, orchards. There's an orchard conservatory here, lots of fire pits. They have weddings at Stowe Botanical Gardens. There's a great Christmas light extravaganza every year that goes on here. Just so much going on. I think I already said tons of weddings that take place here. So it's one of the first places that my family and I came to when we first moved to Charlotte. Somehow I got dragged into Stowe Botanical Gardens, and I think I liked it. It is pretty cool. And this, along with Crowder's Mountain to the west, which I don't know if I talked much about that, a great hiking location, trails there. Kings Mountain, where I've camped several times, trails, a paddle, a pond there, a little lake. You can go running, walking, hiking. There's a battleground there from the Revolutionary War. That's Kings Mountain. All that's right around Belmont. On the north side is the Whitewater Rafting Center, which we've talked about. Again, hiking, walking, running, zip line, wall climbing, and rafting, of course. So lots to do in Belmont, and if you need any more information about it, put some comments down below. Let me know if you like this, if it was too broken up for you. This is the way I do things, so give me some critique. And if you want to get on a call, you're coming down to Charlotte sometime to visit, we do have a Zoom call set up that you can press in the description down below. So subscribe, like us, and thanks for paying attention.